over 9 decades, fathers have taken their sons to Central Park, and those sons have then taken their sons. Stories of legendary players and memorable games have been passed on for almost a century. Like many towns and cities across Scotland, going to the football on a Saturday is a ritual, a religion. And when you walk through the rusted turnstiles at Central Park, you're not just entering a theatre of dreams, you're entering a theatre of memories.
Became a Cowdenbeath supporter when I was a wee boy, and my dad took me to the games, and I remember all the people, their supporters, they were all with their feet, drumming their feet on the wooden floor, and it made a huge rumble, supporting the team. It was incredible noise, and that used to be very kind of thrilling. So, but these things stay with you, and there was always disappointments, and there were triumphs and great personalities among the players. So there's a real family sense about the club and the community with the link with the mining. And so, I was reared in all these stories. I've never forgotten them. They're just part of me. I like to go to Central Park as often as I can, obviously, and to away games as well. From Orkney, that's not easy because, for a start, you've got an hour and a half across the Pentland Firth, and then the bus, takes forever. So it's a long, long journey. I came to Orkney to be minister of St Magnus Cathedral. I used to tell the kids about Cowdenbeath, And there was one wee boy went home to his mum and said, "Why is the minister always talking about cows and beef?" He hadn't quite grasped it, Old ladies would stop me in the street in Kirkwall. They'd never been at a football match in their life, and they'd say, I'm sorry, Cowdenbeath lost yesterday." And they used to watch for the results, third division results, and usually they did lose at that time.
Standing here and looking back, I'm looking back over 60 years, and that's a realisation in time. And Cowdenbeath football team have given myself a lot of pleasure over the years. In fact, I remember working in Burnt Island, and it was a cup game with Morton, and there were no buses running, so I walked nearly 8 miles, and it had been snowing, to get to see Cowdenbeath playing Morton. And the sad part of it was that Cowdenbeath lost 1-0, but that didn't matter. It was the anticipation walking from Burntown to Central Park and seeing Cowdenbeath. Well, I suppose his father had been a Cowdenbeath supporter, and when he was old enough to appreciate it, I think Ash would be what, 7 or 8-year-old when I brought him to the football. Time went on, as he got older, he managed on his own for the football, and Ashley would never, ever miss a home game, rain, hail or snow. He really loved Cowdenbeath, and when he came home, if I wasn't at the match at that time, I would get a commentary of the full match, but it was good because I realised that Ashley really enjoyed it. Just like myself, it took me back in time just listening to Ashley coming back from a match. And as years went on, when Ashley married then, and he moved away from Cowdenbeath, but he still came from, it was Uchtermuchty he stayed, and he came down for the home games. Sometimes I'd go up and pick him up and bring him to the football match. So it became a way of life with Ashley, and I'm sure the same as myself, he was saying, well, I'm following my father's footsteps. It's 11 years since he passed away. So his ashes are sprinkled in the park, and it's sad for me today, but it's given me a lot of pleasure too, knowing that Ashley himself would have loved that. I really have a strong bond with Cowdenbeath, with the football, and with my son being here. It gives you strength, I suppose.
To lead the team out in that day, it was a proud moment, especially in my career. I'd never been involved in sort of a game like that where promotion was at stake. We deserved to be up there and go down to the last game of the season. We just had to go out and try and get a win. I don't think the club had been promoted in a wee while. We'd had a few bad seasons before then. It was really a winner-takes-all sort of game for either club on the day when we played Brechin. The whole place was absolutely stowed with people in here. Just the whole atmosphere coming out, and just the roar when we come out the tunnel, we come onto the park. Just a really special day. So they were going for the win, and they were flinging everything, absolutely everything at us. There was a shot came in from, I think it was from the left-hand side. He saved the ball, he's launched it up the pitch. I can just remember Graham playing in the ball to Murray, and the ball coming down the wide there, and I've just made a run. I think I was in my own half to start with, and I've just bombed him in, and as the cross came in, it's about the area I was in, where I managed to get up and header the ball in to make it 2-1 for us. When the ball hit the net, of course there was, as I say, there was not many supporters in here. I can just remember running across there to that side, just running across there and seeing obviously the people that I've known for a little while that's come to support the club, the joy in their faces knowing that the club was getting promotion. It was a special moment. First signed for the club back in 1994, and my dad never missed any of, at least up until 2000. And when I left in 2004, I think my dad must have missed at least a handful of, especially home games. He was born and bred Cowdenbeath, pushed me right into playing football when I was a small boy. I was actually here when if I can remember correctly, I must have been about, I think it was 6 or 7 years old, I was a mascot for Cowdenbeath. And when I had the chance to come and sign for Cowdenbeath, my dad was proud, obviously, because I've been a local man from the town itself, especially. My dad, unfortunately, was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer, and he died in December 2006. I was actually at Dumbarton at the time. I played. It's quite ironic because obviously Cowdenbeath's biggest rivals in the league we're in at the moment is East Fife, and we were playing East Fife not long after my dad died. I scored in a 3-1 win, and I can just remember running away at Strathclyde Home Stadium, Dumbarton's ground, just running away and pointing to the heavens and just say, "Oh, obviously that one was for you, Dad." My mum and my wife and that still come to the games. Sometimes my wee boy comes as well, and it's weird because I still look up to where my dad used to stand and sit in the stand, and it's one of them you think that is he still there, and you think maybe he's there in spirit just watching you, but it's weird. It's one of the things where because he stood there for so long, when we've been at the club for so long as well, you always have a wee glance just in case. You never know.
On a sun-drenched Saturday afternoon in April 2006, Cowdenbeath beat Elgin City on the last day of the season to clinch the Scottish Third Division Championship, winning the club its first trophy in 67 years.
That was a great match, and it was a great achievement by the team itself. And they'd had a great season, but it was obviously a match that had to be won, and they did win well. I had the privilege of being onto the pitch, presenting the trophy, made history, and to get promotion and to do so in the way they did, 2-1 against Elgin, nail-biting moments. Quite near the end, Elgin had scored, of course, and we had to hold on. And then, of course, the celebrations, the helicopter coming, the cup being presented, a great moment for Cowdenbeath. My father was the first supporter. Well, my grandfather, they used to come and support Cowdenbeath, and he always told me about being here in 1924, which was the great season when they first got promotion to the First Division. He always remembered that game, and my grandfather had been there, and thousands had poured in, standing room. Nobody seated, of course, in these days, unless they were in a very important part of the stand. Everybody standing for this great promotion match, which allowed Cowdenbeath to get into the First Division. Well, there'll be a great deal of sadness after so many years at Central Park, but equally so, the important thing is that the club keeps going, the community keeps being strong around the club, that players and young people keep being trained in the game, and that the great traditions of Cowdenbeath are upheld. Not because you've got a stadium somewhere, but because you've got a community spirit that infuses the whole club, and the club has got a real connection with Cowdenbeath, and that's what's going to matter. Wherever the geography of the club stadium is, what really matters is how the history of the club breeds the culture in Cowdenbeath that supports such an important team.
Well, I think it will be sad if and when this ground goes. I mean, I know it gets slated in the national papers, and there's certain pros out there and they say where's the worst ground that they've been at, and they always choose here. I mean, granted, it's maybe not the greatest of surroundings, and I can remember when the old wooden stand was here and when it went on fire, and this is what football's about. This is it's your typical old style football ground, and it'll be, as I say, it'll be sorely missed if and when it does go.
We'll still have these memories. I suppose we've got to go forward, and I think as time goes on, everything changes, and even in my lifetime things have changed, and I've just got to accept these changes.
For me personally, I mean, the club and the ground played such an important part of my life. It's a kind of spiritual home, which might be a funny thing for a minister to say, and it's part of my being, it's part of my fabric, it's part of our community story, part of our family story, you know, and our grandchildren now come. So yeah, leaving this old place is going to be hard, no question about it. It'll be hard to walk away, you know, for the last time. And people walk away with their heads held high and proud of it, proud of what's happened here. And the place and the memories and the stories will never be forgotten. And I'm glad to have written a couple of books that preserve some of these stories for future generations. I think it's important to keep the stories alive. So I've really been pleased and privileged to do that.